All right, this is a box of Rest in Pieces. It's one of our cases. You can see the details along the side. You can also see that this is one of my advanced boxes for, reviewers and stuff. And it's got this beautiful dent in it. So we'll have at least probably one damaged game in this box, but I wanted to share this with you. It's not my first advanced case from the printer, but it was the one that I was ready to show the unboxing video for. So I really don't know inside if it's perfect, but the last one was perfect except for one thing. So it should be. So let's check it out. Okay. As you can see, I'm at a new house. So we're filming in a new location. So hopefully the video and everything, the bouncingness of my phone over there that we're using isn't too much and that the sound comes through good. It's okay, I'm yelling. We have a beautiful window. It's round. All right. Unboxing videos just aren't fair sometimes because can you imagine having this and being like, there's just one thing that I hope is perfect and I really, really want to open it and check, but I have a 2-year-old, so I can't quite do the unboxing video anytime I want and it possibly be of any audio and video quality or it not be 30 minutes long with me not in half of it. So I had to sit around and wait to open this. It's like a kid on Christmas not being able to open your presents. I know I'm weird over here, like trying not to rip up the customs label as if I'm gonna glean some treasure map or something. Okay. All right. Okay. And so they put a piece of paper and just something on top. And turn it so you get the pretty view. Whoa. As you can see, a case has 8 units inside. And like we mentioned, one corner seemed a little banged up, so let's see. Oh. Yeah, there's a little bang to the corner on this one. So if you don't mind, I'm going to open that one. And use that as a new demo copy. Just slide this guy over off to the side. Whoa. Yeah, that's just not gonna, it's gonna be in the way. So, see, it's cool. It's only 20 pounds. All right. As you can see, new attire. All right. So, I gotta try not to gloss over the basics that I already know. This box is awesome. It's nice, it's sturdy. There's not a lot of shaking going on in there. It's thick. It weighs about 2 pounds and I think 7 ounces. Yeah. You know, for a stack of wooden blocks inside, that's not too bad. Okay. Shrink wrap just like you'd expect from most quality products. Now, I did say this was the one that was banged up a little bit from the box. So it's got one beat up corner, but I can show you. And see, am I too far?
No, you're okay.
All right, you can see the box good. All right, so you can kind of see all the colors look great. All the box decoration. The back of the box. Give me a little display of what a character might look like.
Bring that closer.
I'm sure you can't read everything, which is okay. You can read it when you get yours. But all the colors look good. Everything is very legible. You can see everything very well. Nothing seems cut off at an improper seam. Yeah. Okay. And wow. Okay. Again, nice, thick, sturdy, strong. Okay. You saw the outside of that already. We got the rule book. Yeah, this looks nice and clean. Has the same cover as the box. To give you an idea, a little bit of the layout. It's kind of far for you, but it's pretty. It's about, I think, 24 pages, and that's because half of it is a walkthrough as you go, learning the rules. Anything where you see grayed out basically is just telling you that, hey, this is the walkthrough, examples of play. The back of, there's 2 pages towards the end that I think that you'll use when you're at the table for your first games. It says, what does this look like? And it's kind of like a step-by-step look at what you might do at the table, and you might have to say to your players. It's something I did with Dream Chaser as well. It just seems like that reference part is so important when you're learning a new game. So hopefully this will be in a good order that anything that could come up is pretty close and in front of you. It looks just as good as the previous one I had. I might have mentioned it before, but there's a lot of questions we had when we were doing this. You know, when you're working with a company that's overseas and there's language barriers and stuff, we were really worried that the black, the saturation, the depth of the darkness was going to be the same throughout on everything, whether it was the box, the manual and stuff. There's a lot of back and forth about that just to make sure that was the case, and it makes me very happy to tell you that it's great. So we have these character cards. I think we've talked about them before, maybe we haven't. I haven't shown you them in a long time because they weren't right for a long time, but they're dry erase. So these cards,
Bring it closer.
each one of them has basically like placeholders that when we pull the cards out of the game and you put them on, you'll be able to place them on different locations. You know, your character is built by having a dead-end job, an odd hobby, and a deadly object, and you'll just take those cards that you pull and they'll just fit in this card. If you've played Zombie World or seen that, it's very similar. So your character will be actually mostly made of playing cards onto your sheet here, and then with a dry erase marker adding a name, a resting place, and a favorite food. And largely that's so that we can get you playing really, really quick. And for some of you who are happy to just make random characters, you can just grab some cards, get going, and you're done, you know. Truly 5-minute character creation. Each of these are really cool. They have a neat picture from the game inside. You know, there's not a whole lot of opportunity to fit art of this size. So we used it as often as we could to make sure that you got to enjoy it. And those came out fantastic. Yeah. Okay. The narrator, it was almost a last minute add-in that why am I going to have them write on index cards, right? They're another player just like everyone else. It doesn't cost much to just throw them a card as well. So they have the one vertical card, and it's really left to just be a notes card. You know, if I can't see all of my players, if I can't read their cards very easily, I can write their names. I can write little things that happen, you know, just bullet point sort of stuff. An NPC character. This is meant to manage a game that might last an hour. So, you know, you can erase it and go all over again. But yeah, and then they look really great on the table. As we mentioned, each box set comes with 2 of these. I should really lift this up so you can just kind of see. So originally, the plan was to have the tower set up for you as it should be. But you know, manufacturing, they didn't want to do that because that's a pain in the butt, I guess. So that part didn't happen. As I mentioned, the sleeve that's holding the tower, we had an issue with the art on it for the first advanced set, so I didn't pull those out originally. I didn't show them to you, I mean. So I can already see that it's better. On the other one, they had put the wrong art, the art of this holder on the art of the sleeve. So it was duplicated on both, and that was the problem. It's just a simple error. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull these markers out. I mentioned that this box was damaged because I can see now that it also damaged some of the holder. Not significantly, a little more than I thought. So this holder here holds your cards, it holds the markers, and it's keeping our blocks separate because the block sleeve can actually just slide right out of here. And ideally, once you'd set up your tower, you'd have it ready and it would just be ready to go. And okay, I'm trying to do it and look good about it, but that ain't happening. Whoa. Right? So this is our sweet sleeve. It's the one thing that was wrong on the last set, so it's great to see. By far the coolest freaking sleeve for any sort of tower, as the next best kind of black. They often are thin and flimsy. This thing is sturdy, it's cardboard, it's tough. Maybe overly thick, you can kind of see, right? Just like a box. But yeah, and then the print quality came out as good as all the pictures. Not as dark as I thought it would be, in a good way. Like it looked overly dark in my digital samples, and they look as good as an art print. So that's really, really nice. And this is what the tower should look like. So we put that in there for visual reference, but it's nice, especially now when you have to go fix it, right? You might see it's 42 blocks, so it's shorter than your other towers. Like a Jenga tower is 54 blocks. And that's largely because of the pacing of the game. We wanted each episode to feel like a sitcom, so you could play a sitcom episode in somewhere around an hour. And you know, if you feel like it's a to be continued or a two-parter or something, you can keep going. But most of the time, you'll have a pretty complete, silly, ridiculous roommate adventure in your 1 hour slot. So these blocks, I've probably talked about it before, but I'm so proud of them. They have a varnish on them, but they feel like sanded. And of course they were sanded in the varnish, but I just mean they feel really good. About as close as you could get to a Jenga block with it having color, which clearly adds an element, right? But that means they're going to have that element of being a little tough to pull out. They're not so super slick or super smooth that you're going to be able to like flick them out of the tower. A lot of towers that do have colors may even be smoother than this one. And sometimes I find that's not necessarily positive. So I think you're going to have a very similar to Jenga experience when using this tower to pull out your blocks, which gives it a little bit more tension. Because when it's too easy to pull the blocks out, it just kind of creates a different experience. It's not a bad experience. So I mean, it's just that you're not worried about it till there's not many choices left, is kind of what happens differently. And more often we see players then play a full-length game, which then can run that, you know, hour or sometimes even like an hour and a half if it runs really long, right? So this tower, you'll probably have more games that run that 30, 40, 50 minutes, which is nice because on average we want that to hit that hour mark. So anyway, the tower, it's really awesome. And so the holder over here, like you're saying, so when you have it, it's here, but you can actually pull it out. Later on when you have your expansions, if you want to, you can just line them all in here. They fit pretty nice, obviously with the tower blocks and the holder. So you could use all this for stacking spaces because you'll have 5 additional decks plus these 2, if that's what you choose. If not, you have this cool cutout. Right, the cards. And these actually have those little pull tabs. I actually have enough nails that I can use them. All right. Wow. Yeah, so let's just slide these babies out of the way. Okay. So it opens with death. It opens with your fiend friend, your frenemy card. On the flip side, talks about Death's Pad. Each of the expansions, they open up a new character like the Great Cthulhu, and then they talk about a new kind of place that you can share. I think it's the Sunken Kingdom for Cthulhu. I think it's like a leaky flop house is what we're going for. And there's elements that feel like the 1930s, 1940s for you to lean into if you want to. And then you could see there's an X card. The X card flips for a starter card. So once you make your characters, you can use this card as kind of a script to transition us from, hey, we made our characters, to actually putting them in with death in a house. Welcome to Coffin City. Here our deadbeats live with death, aka the Grim Reaper, in a basement studio apartment. More like a dungeon if you ask me. And it goes on and asks you to put some input from like some of the stuff in character creation that you'll already have in front of you that just kind of make it your own. We have a bunch of dead-end jobs, and The back art came out great. And yeah, I'd show them to you, but you'll see them much better when you have your own. We should probably look at the middle finger cards towards the back, because those are just a different kind of pretty. They look a lot different than most of the others. There's a couple cards we threw in towards the end too, when it just, more ideas keep coming to you after the Kickstarter, as you're making the thing, as you're going over it and over and over it. You had the expansions and you start thinking about new ideas and you're like, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? And some simple things like, how about if you're gonna make characters quick and they need jobs, what about some dead-end places they could work? What about some names for characters? What about if we're gonna ask where you sleep in the pad, what about some ideas for resting places or some favorite foods? So all very simple, just cards that you can easily pass around that people can look at if they're just looking for names, things that sometimes are hard to come up with on the spot. And of course this was fun because you'll see a lot of stuff that was suggested by different backers as part of their backer rewards. Some of the businesses that supported us, retailers, you'll see little hyperlinks that in your digital PDF you can actually click on, but we the links transferred over just to give them a little more spotlight. Yeah, and there's a handful of cards, like the character cards themselves have a slot for you to put a player reference card. Tells you all that major stuff that they might want to do, like what kind of actions they can take. So they don't feel like they have to keep asking. And some players, they won't. So to keep the rules in front of them is nice. They're like, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh, I keep forgetting about that. And then this side is just making the character reference. So again, just a kind of smooth character creation over fast. Yeah, and like I was saying, so these are our middle finger cards. This is kind of like a deck that is on the table, and as people make pulls, it's this deck that gives each player overtime for taking actions. They start cycling through having one card in their hand, which is just a little thing they can do to kind of screw their neighbor. And it's a part of kind of keeping the block economy moving, but it's also a way that you can have a little ace up your sleeve that might be unpredictable for the other players. Just like roommates, you can be unpredictable. So, like this one says, dude, it's your mom again. Remove a deadbeat from the scene for 90 seconds, real time, while they talk to their mom. So narratively, it puts their character out of the scene no matter what was going on, but only for a real 90 seconds. And if you're laughing, you're blowing the time. So it's meant to just throw, a twist and a turn into the game, keeping it fresh and exciting. All right. This is awesome. I'm glad you got to see this. I'm really excited. It's perfect. I told them don't wait. Just send it to DHL, get it on the boat, get it over here. And I'm glad because it's ready. It's totally ready. It's totally done. I know all the units have been completed. We're just waiting for that boat to take the product over to you. So hopefully I have better news soon, and I hope you enjoy this. Thanks.